Okay, if memory serves, this is the last part we'll be spending on Asteroid X-57.
So it says in the playlist I have.
Also the last part that we're going to be spending in the moon buggy without significant crossfading going on.
Then we head into asteroid X58, which looks remarkably like 57.
But where's SR-388?
You know, and you can see it with this view right here, sort of. But you know, for as much crap as I'll give Mass Effect for having barren exploration maps for its side quests and copy pasted buildings and whatnot, the actual visual design of the planets that you drive around on, they're very nice. And you know, every so often while you're playing, when you're not grumbling to yourself about how repetitive what you're doing is, you will just stop and look at what you're looking at and be like, ah, God, that's nice. And I'm looking forward to having that same sensation with better gameplay in Andromeda. You know. But yeah.
Pop in.
It's the kind of thing that some people like No Man's Sky for. Even though, you know.
Things we would have liked No Man's Sky for.
No. Some people actually do genuinely like No Man's Sky for that exact sensation, you know, exploring the vast frontier and all that. It's just a shame that, you know, the game doesn't attach that to better gameplay. Which is sort of the same situation here, but in this case, it's not quite the entirety of the experience, and you can skip it if all you really enjoy about Mass Effect 1, like me, is the main missions. Which are pretty well designed, but...
This game lets you commence with the shoot sting.
Well, actually, no, even the main missions don't really have as heavy an emphasis on shooting as the later games in this series do.
But at least you can shoot.
Yeah. I mean, some of the parts of Mass Effect 1's main missions have more of a survival horror feeling than a straight up action feeling.
I never thought of it like that, but yeah, that's actually kind of true.
Yeah.
Where did you learn to drive?
I lied. We did end up crossfading there. I think I got lost trying to find side quest stuff.
It'd be very easy to get lost in nothing but gray.
Yeah, there is a side quest in this on this planet that the guy asks you to find the corpses of his well, he asks you to find his lost employees, and you wind up finding their corpses. And it's fairly well done, actually. I mean, most of it is reading, so it kind of feels a bit like a text adventure. But actually tracking these corpses down is kind of an unsettling experience. Each of them is in a different situation, and you do find out enough about how they died to get a feel for what happened to them. Also, there are a few scattered about buildings on this planet that just have munitions. Like this shed is just a grenade storage shed, so you can refill your grenades, and you probably won't be able to carry all the grenades in one go, so if for some reason you're really grenade happy in one of the buildings, you can always go back there and get some more.
Why can't I hold all these grenades?
Well, you might be able to hold them all if you've upgraded your grenades storage to maximum before getting here, but
Yeah, you see, you can't hold any more grenades, but you can still hold 99 more med packs. It doesn't really make much sense.
Can I just stop to appreciate that this is a turret that's designed so that it can occasionally take cover? It's a turret that takes cover.
Oh,
moves back and
I was
forth.
hoping you were going to do that. I love when that happens. I love when they shoot a rocket towards you, and you can actually push A to hover and just jump over it. That's always
Mario
fun.
jump over it.
Try hovering.
I do that all the time, actually. It
Yeah.
didn't happen up until now because I was still trying to get used to how the moon buggy controls again.
I love that.
It's great. Unfortunately, this is what moon buggy combat will always amount to. Even when you're fighting Geth walkers, they just shoot energy balls at you that move in the exact same speed and pattern as the missiles. So
That's why I was saying it was easy to strafe them in the last part, because like you can see them coming very clearly, and if you're far enough, you know, you can still hit them with your cannon easily, but their rockets are so slow that they just take forever to get to you. You're just like, back up, I'm fine. Go forward, I'm fine.
you might think that that rolling up onto a hillside and aiming your gun at an enemy would be a pretty cool thing to do, not to mention a valid tactic. Unfortunately, the game makes it pretty much impossible to do that, because when you're up on a hill and you try aiming your gun upward, the camera will always get stuck underneath your car, so you can't really aim upward in that situation.
Yeah, I've also found when you're slanted, the cursor doesn't seem as accurate. Like, you can have things where the circle is, and you shoot, but it still misses for some reason.
I know what the problem with that is, and it's one that they very deliberately fixed with the hammerhead in Mass Effect 2. Your gun can't aim downward, so even if your aiming reticle is on something, your gun has to be angled toward it.
Yeah.
That sounds stupid.
Yeah, well, the hammerhead has this slot in the front of it that allows the cannon to point downward, so it doesn't have that issue. Unfortunately, the hammerhead is made of paper mache and explodes at the slightest provocation.
Well, it could travel in space. Shit, that's some pretty good paper mache.
Renee Montoya, no!
Yeah, I was about to say Renee Montoya. Why did Batman save you?
Oh, man.
And now she's the question.
It's not like space has ever stopped Batman before.
This is the question's origin story. Thanks, Lewis.
Shotguns. I just got one of the most damaging skills in the game. Unfortunately, I'm absolute shit at aiming it, and I don't think at any point during this playthrough I'll actually hit anything with Carnage. But basically, it turns your shotgun into a rocket launcher, and does damage appropriate to that. Carnage would not return as a skill in a Mass Effect game until Mass Effect 3, and it's not a standard skill in Mass Effect 3. You actually have to it's a skill that belongs to James Vega in that game, and you have to equip it as a special skill after achieving a certain getting a certain achievement.
Did you just run over Renee Montoya as you were driving away?
Oops.
I'm so sorry. I shall honor you. Goes
Oh
in
no, a
reverse.
dead body! Oh well.
No, that's like one of those like innocent Nimrod things you do, where you fuck up and put it in reverse instead of going into drive.
Oh, man.
Oh, good thing he was dead. At least now we confirmed it.
Alright. And I actually wound up finding the corpse before I found the signs that were supposed to lead me to it. So yeah, Montoya here was in this building and ran off trying to escape and got sniped. Treasure.
So you're saying it was Deadshot.
Yeah, totally.
Who?
Will Smith.
Oh, okay.
I like how you had to explain Will Smith.
Oh, man. Yeah, checking the computer in here triggers an attack by drones.
Why?
That kind of stuff can happen sometimes. Oh, one other thing that I should mention. I didn't care about experience points for this fight, but enemies that you kill with your tank actually give you less experience. So one viable tactic for increasing your experience gain on these explorative planet things.
Oh, whittle them
is
down and then
to,
jump out and do the last shot.
Yeah, I love that. I love when games let you cheat the system like that.
Ah, man.
Yeah, it's like you're inside a heavy mech suit fighting a giant robotic King Kong, and you will tell to like 2%, get out and punch it to death, and you can literally say you killed it with your bare hands.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
You didn't
I did
fatally
kill
wound
my
it
bare
with your
hands.
bare hands, but you certainly killed it
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Alright.
be a legend.
And here we are. Now, Balak is... The choice that you make here will determine whether or not Balak reappears briefly in Mass Effect 3. It's a very throwaway mission in Mass Effect 3, and it's so cheap that I wonder why they bothered. But yeah. Basically, what we're going to wind up having to do here... Why they have grenades by the front door, I'm not sure. What we're going to wind up having to do here is deciding whether or not to hold Balak where he is but let him kill his hostages, or save the hostages and let Balak get away. Depending on what choice you make, the gameplay for this situation will change. It will either be a fight to the death against Balak and his Batarian soldiers, or you'll be running around trying to disarm bombs as a bunch of turrets try to kill you. A bunch of rocket drones, I mean. So, yeah, it's a pretty neat sequence. Kind of short, but it's a neat sequence. I kind of wish that the entire DLC section had been built like this area, you know, completely original and nice looking and all of that. But
Yeah.
nah.
Dude, this soundtrack is totally like Terminator 1.
Yeah.
Like, you hear that synth.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mass Effect 1 is the only game in the series that has this particular style of music, which is unfortunate.
I don't mind it. It's just that it's totally Terminator 1.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't saying that as if the music was bad. I mean, it's the only game in the series that stuck to this particular sound direction, which is unfortunate because it gave it a nice space opera feel.
Does Mass Effect 2 and 3 go for more orchestral?
Mass Effect 2 and 3 go for a more, somewhat orchestral, depending on the track, but more of a standard action movie kind of sound.
Yeah, more bombastic, more
like Hans Zimmer and whatever.
The music in Mass Effect 1 is always kind of subdued, like, and that sort of gives it its horror game feel at times too. Mass Effect 2 went full action with the soundtrack for its mission areas, for its combat missions, so the music is always pumping and high octane. Mass Effect 3 compromised by giving each area its own main theme and a battle theme that only kicks in when a fight happens. So it kind of hit the two sound designs in the middle, and certain tracks like the Mars theme do feel very Mass Effect 1. But depends on where you are in the game, really.
Yeah. Again, it's another thing that makes it feel different from 2 and 3 is that it just feels more science fiction-y, the soundtrack. It feels more otherworldly compared to the more military, the more action-packed style of 2 and 3.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say that one is definitely better than the other two. It just had aspects to it that I kind of wish didn't get lost in the sequel transition.
Oh, for sure. Like, to me, Mass Effect 3 has by far the best gameplay in the series. Like, I think 3 controls amazingly well. It has a pretty fun multiplayer mode that I actually went back to every now and then.
Yeah, the multiplayer mode in Mass Effect Mass Effect 3 was something that people were super skeptical about because it was at that specific time frame when games were shoehorning multiplayer modes in for no apparent reason, with series that were better off just focusing on making good single player experiences. And it's to Mass Effect 3's credit that the single player did not suffer. The only real problems with the single player actually were story concerns, and that had more to do with the lead writer of the previous games leaving than anything.
Yeah, for what I see a few times playing games as long as you have is that usually when it comes to sequels, the one thing that I think people tend to miss the most about the first game of a series is that normally when the first game in a series is usually the most ambitious because they don't know what works and what doesn't work yet, so they throw around a lot of ideas, or maybe they want to do something this way.
Yeah.
And so in Mass Effect's case, you say it's more of a sci-fi feeling, like something right out of Star Trek or Stargate or what's the other one?
Babylon 5?
Babylon 5, yeah, there you go. But you say it kind of loses some of that going into... I mean, at the expense of making the gameplay better, so it's a better game, but would you say it lost something in its world, would you say, going to Mass Effect 2 and 3?
Yeah. What I've heard other people say to describe the change between 1 and the later games is that Mass Effect 1 portrayed space as a massive frontier, while the other games portrayed it as a theme park. Which is a fitting description. Cynical as all hell, but it gets the essence of the idea across. A theme park is great, but it's not the same kind of experience as a massive frontier.
Yeah, you can see the strings.
Yeah. Balak here is the only Batarian with a really, really unique skin tone out of the ones that I can recall. So, yeah, I guess that's how you make an alien recognizable when you've only got one face model to work with. He also has a really nice, not nice, why am I saying nice? A really great voice actor to go with him.
Hey, I'm sure he's a nice guy. You know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a trip.
Don't be rude.
But what you find out in Mass Effect 3 is that this guy is totally a high-ranking official in the Batarian government. So he's not just a terrorist, he's their Black Ops guy. He's doing this with the quiet approval of the Batarian government, specifically to strike back at the humans. It's a pretty... It's a complicated and messy political situation between humans and Batarians, and unfortunately, it's never entirely fleshed out. It's just kind of an undercurrent thing that happens to pop up whenever Batarians enter the story. And you can try talking to this guy, but he's not going to back down. So yeah, if you attack him, then Kate Bowman, the woman who enlisted our help in the first place over the radio, she's gonna die. Along with a bunch of other nameless people who are with her. And you get to see them blown to smithereens. Not a particularly graphic display, since the graphics are kind of subpar for it, but... well, it's a thing. It makes you feel like crap. But,
I at least like that it's conflicting. I like the idea that, like...
yeah.
Those hostages are gonna die, but this guy could do some more terrorist acts. Maybe you should get him now?
Yeah, and here's the thing. When Balak reappears in Mass Effect 3, it does get you a war asset, so basically a reward for making the Paragon choice, but he also kills a bunch of sick people before that happens.
Were they terminally ill, is the
So,
question. Okay,
no.
that is
no,
terrible.
they weren't. He, like, sabotages. He sabotages hospital equipment and gets people killed.
Ryan, you're going to Mass Effect hell.
Well, if they were terminally, ill, you're just kind of speeding up the process, but...
Fuck you. Android hell does indeed exist, good sir, and you're heading down there, you fucking robot.
That was my sad attempt to hit something with the Carnage ability. It didn't work.
Oh, well, you see, it's because they changed it from being, like, a spin-off of Venom, and then they just kind of made it like that Gwen Stacy was Carnage for some reason. It doesn't really make too much
Even
sense,
edgy.
but, you know, you just... oh, man.
Maximum Carnage has a fantastic soundtrack.
Well...
Look, Ultimate Marvel... No, not Ultimate Marvel. Ultimate Spider-Man is a really good book up until about the 100th issues. And then, like, it gets weird and shitty.
That's comics for you.
Yeah.
Ah, man. Well, you've got plenty of time to do this, by the way, so don't fret over the time limit over there. Just don't take too long trying to fight the drones, and you'll be fine. The thing to note about disarming these bombs is that the moment you get to the bomb and select it, time freezes so that you can do the QuickTime event. So you don't really have to worry about being shot while you're working.
Like, oh wait, Shepard's deactivating the bomb. Don't touch her.
The ability I just used was Marksman, and basically what it does is it jacks up your damage and accuracy so that your gun isn't shooting wild quite as much. That is the unfortunate problem, well, not problem so much as limitation that you have to deal with a level-based weapons accuracy system in this game, is that your weapons don't seem to want to shoot straight at the dead center of your screen as much. You do have to worry about accuracy. Like while you're aiming, you're more accurate. While you're moving, you're less accurate. While you're crouching, you're more accurate. That kind of thing. And no, I wasn't crouching in combat earlier because I wanted to be more accurate. I was crouching in combat because the crouch button is like the camera stick when you press it down, and sometimes I hit it by accident.
Wait, I thought you said that. Is it a toggle or is it like?
It's a toggle.
Okay.
It's a toggle.
Because I remember we were talking
Oh
about.
yeah. I was complaining about that with the PC gamepad default controls in Doom 3 off camera, and yeah, I was just bitching that I had to go into the settings files and remap the controls manually. Yeah, Doom 3 is a good shooter if you don't mind it being more of a story-based horror game than Doom usually is. Now, you don't actually have to go talk to Kate Bowman, but yeah, she's back there. The weird thing is that they have a conversation with Kate Bowman for after you're finished this, but you have to go out of your way to talk to her because after the combat situation, the game automatically moves you to the door so that you can leave quickly. And you'd think if they were going to do that, they'd also put Kate Bowman somewhere near the door so you don't have to walk all the way across the goddamn building to find her. But they don't. And it's kind of annoying. Oh, this is all an inspiring speech, Shepard, but people die in Mass Effect 3 because of you. I hope you're happy. It's not the only case where that happens. Mass Effect seems to be really, really afraid of giving you actual plausible in-game gameplay rewards for being Renegade, but occasionally some of your Paragon choices will come back to say, hey, someone died off screen because you made this bad choice in the previous game, or hey, a recruitment is down because you made a bad choice in the previous game, that kind of thing. It's,
Well, the game doesn't want to make it, like, reward you for being bad, because bad is bad. But
yeah.
At the same time, like,
it's like they know what they want to say with the morality system, but they also know what people will assume they're saying with the morality system. So they're kind of walking on eggshells about it. And yeah, a common complaint that you'll find in the Mass Effect fan base from players who like playing Renegade is that they always feel like they're getting the short end of the stick by doing the smart thing.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Okay. Where did Kate Bowman go? Where is she?
It definitely wasn't like that in KOTOR. When you were on the dark side in KOTOR, you were a force to be reckoned with.
I was entirely wrong. She's right here. Okay. So I just ranted about nothing for 5 minutes. That's...
What's wrong with your face?
What's wrong with everyone's face?
I half expected you to just let us die. Sacrifice the few for the many.
Then I'd be no better than the Batarians.
I really want a better computer so that I can play this game with the Super HD graphics mods attached. It looks fucking fantastic with those texture mods. It looks better than the than the games that follow it with the proper texture and lighting mods put in.
Your brother was the one Balak killed?
did somebody retextured basically the entire game?
He was the one who
Well, the way Mass Effect texture mods tend to work is that over a course of years, a whole bunch of different people make individual texture mods for individual things within the game, and then eventually, once enough of them are made, someone will say, okay, this is getting ridiculous, let's all pack it together into one mod so that people can install it all at once. And, yeah.
That said, can't wait for that Resident Evil 4 HD texture pack to fucking finish already. God damn it, I want to play the game again with those high quality textures.
Wasn't it more of a shader problem?
It's, well, it's a, like, complete from the ground up sort of shit. Like, they're not only making super high quality textures, but they're also rebuilding some geometry for things that just weren't mapped correctly in the original game. So it looks gorgeous as hell. It's taken forever because it's a fan project, you know. You gotta be patient with these sort of things, but I cannot wait until it's over.
Yeah, that'll be nice. I mean, Ultimate HD does have some updated textures going on, but...
It does, but it still doesn't fix some geometry the original game had.
Yeah.
Well, geometry problems the game had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's how you clip into things and then skip half the game, John.
But it looks ugly. You're ugly.
Okay,
You're all ugly.
that's uncalled for, John. All right.
Did you learn nothing from Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, you kidnap a woman and then she falls in love with you, right?
The motto of the story is that beauty is in from the heart. Now make him a human so that it's not too weird.
Let's also get Emma Watson to be Belle. Freaking gorgeous.
Well, there's a lot of people who think that Belle is actually really disappointed when the Beast turns human because they think that she has the hots for the Beast, like the actual furry guy. So so it's just like, oh, you're human. That's great. That's
Great.
what I
Yeah,
wanted.
you look a lot like Gaston. This is not going to work out.
I didn't explore my fetish. God.
Are you gonna write songs about how many eggs a day you eat too?
Beauty and the bestiality.
I'm surprised that Gaston didn't die of food poisoning from eating so many raw goddamn eggs. Also, in the song, he eats the eggs with the shell still on it, for the record. So, yeah.
Hey man, nobody
But
eats
that's
eggs
just-
like Gaston.
He's a man. A dumb man, but a man nonetheless.
He's so manly he could punch you with his chin.
One of my favorite things about Beauty and the Beast is that Gaston's little sidekick, LeFou, is French for the fool. Kind
Yes.
of like how Simba is, I think it's Swahili for lion.
Yes.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
If you translate the beginning of Circle of Life, it goes, "Oh, it's a lion. Yes, a lion."
I thought it was talking about pizza.
Yeah.
No, I can't hear it as anything other than, Castlevania. That's the
Okay. So to close off this part, fortunately, you don't have to do anything complicated or time-consuming to get off of a planet once you've landed on it. You just have to go into your map, hit a button, and return to the Normandy. You can do that anywhere. I'm pretty sure you can. I'm not even sure if you have to be inside the Mako to do it. So if you happen to have left your car behind halfway across the map, I think you're okay.
That's a long road trip if you have to, though.
Yeah, like playing Final Fantasy 15 without using the quick travel
Or chocobos.
or
Get the
chocobos.
goddamn chocobos.
Yeah. The part ended. I have it on autoplay, so I thought we were still going.